Hi everybody. I'm going to show you a couple things that I have found online that will make your navigation of the trips that you want to take a lot easier, and it'll also help with your planning as well. The first thing is a website called caltopo.com. I'm going to run through a few things. I'm not going to give you an item by item tutorial. I'm just going to introduce you to these things, and you need to just play around like I've been doing. I've used a number of tools over the years. One of my favorite tools that I spent a bunch of money on was from National Geographic. Their topo program for the state of California was $100 at REI a number of years ago, and now this stuff you can just get online, and it has a lot more capabilities than these earlier programs did. And no thank you, I don't want to do that. Let me show you. The first thing you can do is make a line on a map of where you want to go. There's a trip that I've done a number of times, and that's to the Peter Grub Hut. And let me show you how to basically do this. You saw where I did add a new object, and this popped up, and here's some instructions for you. Click OK to begin drawing. Escape to undo if you've clicked in a wrong spot. You can shift click for continuous drawing. Personally, I don't like to do continuous drawings unless I'm actually recording from my GPS while I'm on the trail. And then you double click to end when you're doing this. So let's draw a line from where we normally park by Boreal Ridge to the Peter Grub Hut. You start with a click approximately where we park, and under the freeway into the Castle Valley, on up the ridge, and just follow the trail. Here's where it gets a little steep. You can use your arrows to move your screen. You can also zoom in a little bit as you're doing this, and keep drawing on your approximately where you want to go. You can be as detailed as you like. I'll show you that you can follow switchbacks if you so choose, and double click at the end, and I've just drawn a line on the Pacific Crest Trail, basically, or mostly on the Pacific Crest Trail, to the Peter Grub Hut. A couple things this thing does that's kind of nice is it will give you an elevation profile. No thank you again. Give you an elevation profile of your route that you're doing. It will show you, you can see by the moving red dot where you are on your profile. Profile is a very handy tool. This one isn't very accurate in terms of having graphical information on the side, but it is accurate to the point where your mouse is. You can see that my cursor is on this profile at 7,277 feet, and I'm at 0.68 miles into my route, and I range from 7178 on up to 8,007 feet. So it's a very good tool. It's a good planning tool. There are other programs you can do this on, but this is a simple one that I think is pretty effective here. Let me show you something I've already done on here. There's another trip that I've done, and I haven't done this whole trip completely. I've done part of this trip. Come on, move over. Alright, never mind. I was going to try to use the arrows, but I will just grab the map and move it. Okay, now I've hiked into Feely Lake, which is just a stroll. I've also hiked down from the top of Grouse Ridge a number of times from the parking area. One time down to Milk Lake, actually a couple times down to Milk Lake because there's good fishing. One time over to Island Lake, and haven't done the route all the way in between, but I'm pretty familiar with the route. So what I wanted to show you here was if you zoom in when you're drawing these lines, you can follow a trail pretty closely as to what the map shows. Now you'll find that some of these trails on these old topo maps aren't accurate as to where the trails are being used today. So you can kind of check those trails to see sometimes from above on Google Earth whether or not there's kind of a beaten path or if there's another path that's close by, and give you an idea of the terrain you're going to be going through and so on. So I'm going to click right here on KML. KML and KMZ files are recognized by Google Maps, or I'm sorry, Google Earth. The KML file is a little bit more simple. The KMZ file has more information, and you can have more images and so on for the newer GPSs. I'm going to generate this file, and it generated it, and I've already done this once before, so this is actually a second time I've done this. I'm going to double click on the file now that it's downloaded on my computer here, and we'll give it a minute. Okay, I'm impatient. There we go. We'll give it a minute. And Google Earth is going to open up. I don't need a tip from Google Earth. But we'll give Google Earth a minute here. A lot of valuable tools here on Google Earth. You can basically do the same thing with this right here. You can draw lines right on Google Earth. Now, you can see a bunch of flags and so on, things that I've put on from my GPS from years and years of traveling. Here is that line. Now, I don't know why it does this. That's this same terrain, and you're looking at a topo instead of a picture, and I don't know why, but there it is. It did it the last time I pulled this up as well. So, anyhow, I found it interesting, but I'm not looking at a aerial in that area. I'm looking at a topo. Okay, here's the line I made from that topo map from CalTopo. I wanted to show you right here. If you look close enough, you can see the area where everybody parks to go camping at Carr Lake. Okay, and here's the road. And you go along the road past Feely Lake. And this is a stretch that I have not hiked, but I wanted to see what it looked like. And if you look close, let me zoom in here. This is part of the trail that I've been on. If you look close, you can see that line and the trail that it looks like people walk on are pretty close to the same. In fact, here's a picture somebody took of Island Lake right from the trail, and it is right on my line and right on that beaten path. So somebody took a picture and marked it with their GPS, and it's pretty accurate. So there's kind of, just to give you an idea, that's three things that I would kind of trust as I'm doing this map to at least know that I'm going to be in that area. And you know, this guy marked it right there on the trail. My line from the topo maps is right on that trail, and you can see it from Google Earth on that trail. Now, I've never seen that before. That's kind of cool looking. Anyhow, I'll exit that. In fact, let me back out a little bit more. I tried to draw this same line a few weeks ago actually on Google Earth, and one of the problems with drawing it on Google Earth is in not so much this area, but well, maybe a little bit in here. When you get in the trees, you can't draw very well on Google Earth. Even though you might see a trail, it may not be the preferred trail. And I don't remember exactly where the trail is in here, even though I've hiked this a number of times. It seemed to me like we hiked through here. But as I recall, this is very thick. The bushes in this area are very, very thick. In fact, you try to hike along here to get back up to the trail over here, and you just about can't get through this area. So that's why people hike up along here, along the ridge, where it's fairly bare. This is an area where you can see the trail here, but you completely lose it in here because all the shadowing from the trees. But otherwise, CalTopo is a good way to follow the trails from the topo maps, and then Google Earth is a good way to look at pictures of the terrain you're going to be walking on. And I've enjoyed being able to look at some of the trails that I have done, and more importantly, I've enjoyed looking at areas that I would like to go. There's an area that I've had my eye on that is just north of Yosemite that goes into a number of lakes along the Walker River. I've never been in there, but there's trails there, and that's an area I'd like to try, as well as many others. Anyhow, I'll give you more pointers in future videos. Thank you.